G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. We are here on Dry Arabia, the greatest map that has ever existed, to watch two players take each other on in the ring. It's time to get your EGC TV excitement ready. Ladies and gentlemen, spawning in on the south side of the map in the color pink, playing as the Chinese. It's I Am Magic. And on the north side of the map in the color blue, representing Team Elephant, playing as Joan of Arc, it is Louis MT. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a casted game. My name is Aussie Drongo, and I will be your host today as we watch two of the world's most beautiful scouts slowly but steadily scout out the map. And boy, oh boy, don't we have a good game for you today. This is going to be a good one because our matchup, Chinese versus Joan of Arc, an old civ up against a new civilization, but definitely a matchup that is quite honestly one that continues to evolve. I remember playing this matchup back in the day. In fact, now that I remember, it's actually this matchup that I played against Marine Lord a long time ago, though I guess technically he was playing the French, not Joan of Arc, but that game, I still remember that game. I remember coming away from it thinking, what could I possibly have done to have won that game? But look, that was a long time ago, and I've learned my lessons, but let's get to it. We've got ourselves a couple of sheep getting picked up here early. Louis around the back of the base of Magic, whereas Magic's over that left side of the screen. We can see that Magic's going to be a little bit upset that he's maybe lost out a couple of sheep here, but it's going to be a bit of a race towards this last central location, so we'll check in and see exactly how they both go racing towards each other. There's nothing worse than what's about to happen right now for Magic, because Magic's coming back thinking he's going to bring all of his sheep back, and he sees this and he's just like, there's not even words for it. It's just that exhale, man. That's the only thing that you could do. You just exhale. Now, I'm looking forward to seeing what Magic is going to have for us today, because there is a new Chinese strategy that's opening up. I say Chinese strategy. Strategy is the wrong term. It's not a strategy. What I'm actually talking about is not a strategy, but rather it is a build order. It is an opening, and that being the Chinese now don't actually go for an Imperial official early on. Now, I've done some testing with this, and to be honest, I was pleasantly surprised with exactly how strong it is. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, typically, as the Chinese, one of the things that you're doing is getting that Imperial official out nice and early. Well, that doesn't happen anymore. And the reason why is because you can get a very fast Imperial Academy up, and what that's going to do is guarantee that you've got a very quick collection of tax. And you can see that at the moment there's 60 tax that's inside this mill, but it will get picked up as that Imperial official comes online. On top of that, it also means that you get to train an extra villager rather than getting it out of the town center. So it just naturally makes sense. I've done the timings, and you actually can get a better timing than the Anomi build order, which is what the previous record was, or world record was. It's about 5 minutes 50, whereas the Anomi build order is a 6-minute timing, and on top of that you also get a villager extra on top, so it's just so much better. I'm curious to see whether Magic will do it today, and whether he will look to go for it. So far, his opening's looking pretty good. The one thing he might have a bit of trouble with here is just going to be wood. Typically around this timing, you're going to be needing wood, both for a lumber camp as well as looking for a house. So I'll have to see exactly how he plays it out. Imperial Official number 1 is going to be on the way through. You'll see in the bottom left-hand corner, we do now have experience up on your screen for Louis. Louis does, of course, have Joan of Arc in play, so we'll be keeping an eye on her and seeing how she's doing today. Meanwhile, well, let's focus a little bit more down towards that south side. Players are preparing for this early game. Now, I think another big question is going to be, do we see a knight coming out here from Louis? Because judging by the amount of villagers he's got on food, which is not very many, he's only got 5, I don't think we might see one. I don't think we will see one, but we'll have to wait and see how it plays for Louis. You can see he's got 2 villagers there, 3, and then the 4 out here on berries. This is kind of weird having... Oh, there's a sheep out here, that's why. Oh, never mind. I was going to say, it's a bit weird having the villagers on berries this early, but that makes a bit more sense. Second TC going to come into play. Now, does Magic spot this out? Because this is kind of important, right? From Magic's position, at this stage, he's just seen the age up come through, and now he's probably thinking, all right, where is it? I know there's going to be a knight coming in shortly. Barbican will be coming up. Good timing as well. 4 villagers here. He's got plenty of gold. This is one of the things that I've been working out, is that you can pull your villagers off gold very, very early when you're going for this style. And you can see right now, part of that reason is because he's got 100 gold in the bank, not to mention the second Imperial official. A little bit late with that second IO, though. So I want to see his timing here, because as I said, I've done the math on some openings, and 5 550 is the earliest I can get that Song Dynasty 2 TC timing down. I always like to compare myself against the pros because what they often lack in, you know, autistic build order preparation, they do make up for in just general better skills. So I feel like that's the one thing I've got going for me. It's the weaponized autism. Other than that, not really a whole lot. I say weaponized autism. Maybe like a better term would be like planned autism. I don't know, XL autism. Look at that. That's a decent timing actually. 520 on that Song Dynasty. So nice little timing here. We'll be moving out. Look at this beautiful little blockbuster of stone and gold that we've got here. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, though, I do hear rumors that there is a potential unit out on the way. Let's check in and see what we've got out here. Have a look at that. What is it? Oh, ladies and gentlemen, guess who it is? It's Joan of Arc, and she has switched things up. She's drastically decided it's going to be the Hunter. We are going to see Joan of Arc out here, but not only are we going to see the Hunter on the field, we're also going to see that Royal Knight coming out. Beautiful little position this mining camp has got as well, right underneath the Barbican. Only the 4 villagers on stone, so definitely not the fastest of town centers. In fact, moving into that stable as well here, Magic will look to do, which is hopefully going to be able to buy him a little bit of time against this impending attack. Unfortunately, didn't pick up a whole bunch of sheep, and you can see those villagers just somewhat almost scrambling, looking at where they need to go. He's got so much food in the bank, actually. You know where he needs to go? He needs to go out onto the woodlands. Exactly where he needs to go. 19 vills on wood is a lot, though. Might be thinking about getting some walls up. And speaking of walls, this is can we just admire his spawn for a moment? So you get a nice big wall across here, and this is really good because it's very close to your base, so very easy to defend. And then at the same time, you get a wall across the front, wall across to the next position, wall across here, and of course, across to the gold mine, and then finally across to the edge of the map. A really good spot. Oh, Joan. Oh, Joan. Oh, it's close, but I think he's going to be okay. Indeed, she will be. Manages to survive on 20 health. Got to be careful of that Barbican, though. Could look for some snipes here coming underneath the town center, but remember that hand cannon in placement, or hand cannon slit is in play, so always need to be careful of that. Now, does Louis? I think Louis is looking for a third TC, which is definitely the right play. Going for the third TC is pretty much a safe move here against the Chinese. They do want to go for that third TC, or rather, they do want to go for that second TC. So if you can one-up them just a little bit, it is very nice. And oh my lord, Joan of Arc, you got to be careful, girl. Look at that. She is very, very close. Very, very close to having herself a little bit of a problem here. Now, heal is also Divine Restoration, a possibility. I'd be thinking about that if I was Louis right now. I think that's actually a pretty decent investment, and holding onto that, it's only really going to serve to hurt you, as long as you don't lose that Joan. Meanwhile, towards the middle, it looks like reinforcements were being scouted out. Magic doesn't spot anything. Second TC, more than enough resources, or at least more than enough stone for it right now. There we go, getting pulled off. 100 over the top. Definitely a little bit on the delayed side. Actually going to be moving out towards the deer over here on the west side. Little interesting for it. Let's see exactly how Magic looks to defend this. Only the single knight out. Third TC is just getting placed down on the other deer pack, and Louis going to be feeling very good about himself in this situation, considering he's delayed that town center by about 2 minutes. When you consider Song Dynasty, that's 8 villages, right? Because each minute you're pumping out 4 villages with Song Dynasty, compared to the normal TC, which is 3 villages. So you're denying quite a bit there. So that will be very nice for Louis, and I'm sure he'll be counting every single inch that he can grab in that way. But now over towards that west side, expect to see a village thrown down here shortly, because he can only hold 7 villages in the town center. So naturally you need a little bit more space. So the village makes sense. In fact, it might be coming up because it looks like there's been a village put down somewhere else. I don't see it exactly. Where is... Oh, there it is. It's right in the middle of the wood line. So probably not going to be coming up for a while then. Other thing to note is this town center goes smack bang down on where those walls potentially could be. But you could also look to throw down some walls out here just a little bit further. Meanwhile, over towards the east side, it looks like Joan may have been caught out of position. A couple of horsemen, one of them going to go down. Second one now working Magic. Have a look at this. Slowly but steadily, the numbers continue to fall. Expect to see those cavalry units looking to come up the rear for a bit of reinforcement. Keep in mind, she does have that divine shot. What's going on right there? That was a bit weird. A little bit of a bug outs trying to get through. A little bit of a block. 6 health goes down. And unfortunately, that horseman goes down the second that Joan went down. But that is a very big win there once again for Magic. Yeah, he'd be very happy with that. Now, let's talk a little bit about scaling, where players are expected to be. Give them another 10 minutes. So, every minute that goes past, Louis is currently making 9 villages because he's got 3 town centers and each one takes 20 seconds to build a villager, and subsequently, after a minute, you've got 3 out of each, so a total of 9. On the other side of the map, 15 seconds for each of the Chinese villages, which means 4 out of this town center, 4 out of this one for a total of 8. So in about 10 minutes time, it's going to be very, very close on that villager count. You're going to have 80 versus 90 villagers extra. And I think both players will be pretty happy with that. But I think a key difference here will be relics, so we'll keep an eye out on that. Both of them moving over towards that west side of the map, which is bringing them closer to those relics as well. There's only that single relic over on the east side, but expect relics to be a big component of this, especially for the Chinese, who do have access to the pagodas a little bit later on in the game. Now, walls are starting to come up. We just talked about the big wall over on that east side connected here in the middle. I'd love to see just a few more walls thrown in here, and there they come. Exactly what he needs right now. Magic needs to make sure that these annoying, pesky night raids stop. This is a really, really important thing because even if you've got the Barbican at the front, it looks scary, but the reality is the knight can just run straight underneath it. Typically, you'd like to avoid it, but at the end of the day, if there's no other way through, then you'll take the route that you can. All right, well, towards that north side, looks like we might have ourselves some Castle Ages coming through shortly. I can just feel it when you've got 12 vills on gold. There's not really much else that you can do. Well, hold on a minute, Drongo. That's a lot of units starting to come out here. How much production have we got exactly? Double range, double stable. Okay, not terrible, but definitely nowhere near enough when we consider the circumstances. Meanwhile, on the other side, Magic going to be moving into that classic feudal Chinese combo, the Zhukennu Spearmen. Of course, notoriously difficult to deal with. However, the French do have an advantage, and that's going to be the Royal Knight's got that extra point of armor compared to a horseman, which means that you're only doing 1 damage for every shot you've got against those knights. Jones now coming out, going to be joining the pack here. Wolf also getting in on it. Wants a little bit of a bite. Unfortunately here, keep in mind the Zhukennu are slower than the archers, so Louis can just realistically continue pushing down here, but now going to look to turn around and focus the Zhukennu out of position. I don't know exactly what's happened there. Magic, unfortunately, being I was trying to think of a Magic reference that I could make there, like having a spell cast over him or something, but those Zhukennu, they have got a mind of their own. Age up about to come through here for him. We'll switch it over to income per minute, get a bit of an idea at where we're at, 2,000 resources a minute, and this right here is why we get that wall up, because now all of a sudden, those knights, you know, if this wall wasn't here, what is the story? The story is, unfortunately, Louis got some knights into the wood line, and he killed 3 villagers, and he idled out the rest of them, and, you know, over on you know, the units tried to come in and cover, but the knights managed to get away, and then he was hit over on the west side. That's not the story, though. The story's just simply that a villager came out here and started to repair the palisade wall because the knights were stuck attacking into it. Oh, don't you hate that? I hate that. I really, really dislike that. I wish that could get fixed. That is so damn annoying. It's like, there shouldn't be melee attacks through palisade walls. It's just so dumb. But anyway, we had to edit the story a little bit. Zhukennu are going to be moving out over towards that east side. Now, Louis is actually pretty hard committed to Feudal Age. Not only that, but have a look at this. We've also got Chivalry coming through here. So, Magic, upon aging up, I would like to see a nest of bees and then just a whole bunch of spears coming out, and that should be able to hold him. The problem that he's going to have is that it's only going to be a matter of time until his opponent is knocking on Heaven's Door. That's scary. All right. +1 ranged armor now going to be coming through from Magic. Let's have a look and see whether we've got bees. No, instead, he's going to be moving into triple stable, supervising out one of them, looking to get the Imperial official down here on the second one. No, third one. Yes, there we go. All right. So he's going to be mass spamming these knights, which is something that I'm a big fan of this. I really think this is smart because what's the combination that Louis gone? Louis gone the classic French combination, which is, of course, knights, archers. Now, what beats both of those? Knights. Knights beat them both because the knights kill the knights and the knights kill the archers. Simple. Easy. Love it. All right. Well, Magic's going to be able to utilize those knights as well. Somewhat defensively, but also offensively if he decides to do it. We'll try and keep track of where the armies are at. Keep in mind that at the moment, both players are moving towards that Castle Age. Well, Louis now. Guildhall coming through. All right. Well, let's check in and have a look and see where these armies are at. We've got one army retreating back towards the base. Meanwhile, second one down here. So both players looking to play it quite defensively. Villager count pretty even. Stevens at this point as well. How's the income per minute doing? Looking at about 2,600 over here. on Magic's side. On the other side, a little bit less than that. Talking about 21, 2200, somewhere in that region. Now, how do you respond to this? Normally, what you'd want to see is just another wall thrown up along here. So you connect the wall in from this segment right there, and then you wall up along that edge. He's going to try and get a repair off. Once again, that knight is going to be able to attack over the wall. Unfortunately, we'll be losing one villager there. Now those lancers will make it behind enemy lines, spotting out those town centers. Archers are back here. Keep in mind that +1 ranged armor will be helping them out here. They're only going to be taking 1 point of damage each time they get attacked. That wall does manage to stay alive, and big walls now starting to come in for Louis across the map. Lancers looking for a way to strike. Not going to be able to find it. Joan of Arc still a little bit before she hits that level 3. Keep in mind, she will be working towards that 3rd level for probably the next minute or two while she waits for it. She's going to be slowly but steadily dealing with these lancers. And look at this, Magic is finding plenty of space behind enemy lines. Working his way up towards this northern position. Villager counts pretty even Stevens at this stage. Only a handful of vills have gone down, but there's those relics, those so important relics. And have a look at this Magic moving over towards the east side as well and up towards the top. Villager's going to get eaten alive as Magic converges upon it. Textiles is through, so maybe they'll survive. Nice attacks coming through, but majority of Lancers will survive at least for the moment until the Royal Knights come through and charge on the other side. Beautiful pickup right there. Louis, unfortunately for Magic, is on the ball this game. Now, when it comes to walls, I don't think there's any way that he's actually able to get out of here. So those Lancers, they're going to have to fight their way out from the inside. Alternatively, you could look to put pressure on the front, but a lot of Lancers coming out here from Magic. He's up to 19 Lancers. He's going very heavy on the cavalry. It looks like Louis might be thinking about throwing down a keep. A lot of villagers on this forward stone position. Now starting to siege down the walls. Looks like he'll find these villagers to charge onto. Might be able to pick up 1 or 2 if he's lucky. But even then, you're just trying to work towards your reinforcing units so that you're able to keep these Lancers alive, and that's exactly what he's going to be able to do. No veterancy on these spearmen. Meanwhile, on the other side, have a look at this. Louis going to be moving into Abbasid. Gambeson's coming through here for him. The numbers for both of these players looking relatively even. Loving the Imperial official here on top of this mining camp. Still no specialized pick, though. That definitely leaves something to be desired, because you've got a lot of villagers here that are mining. Like, we're talking 47 villagers that are currently mining. That's a lot, man. That you're missing out on such a huge bonus there. Ideally, even moving into acid distillation is very advisable at this stage, because one of the big things that Magic's going to be wanting to do is start to secure these large golds. And to do that, he's going to need stone. So the faster you gather that stone, then, of course, the better it is for you. But he's got a lot of villagers on gold at the moment. Really well done with the Imperial official as well, getting that supervision up. But now, over on the east side, we've got ourselves a little bit of walling coming in. Let's check in with these armies and see where they're at. So it looks like, for the moment, Louis is beginning to move down towards that south side, whereas Magic continues just to sit here. He's going to start sieging through the walls, and now the armies begin to converge upon each other. A lot of Lancers here right now for Magic, but one of the key differences is the Abbasid number. Have a look at this on the side of Magic. He's only just getting his first crossbows out. Now that keep, a lot of villagers here. This could be really bad right now for Louis. He's going to commit to the fight. Keep in mind, Joan of Arc still level 2. About to hit level 3. Once she crosses over, there she goes. She'll be absolutely fine. Looking to get those men-at-arms out. Abbasid on the backside also throws the heal down as well. Pavis shield is up. They've got their Gambesons upgrade. Good luck taking these bad boys out. Keep looks like it will survive through this. So not a lot of villagers going down. Meanwhile, towards the middle of the map, Nested P's going to get picked up. Not sure what you're doing, buddy. Someone called Jason. Where's he at? I got no idea. He must be protecting the hive. Speaking of protecting the hive, it looks like, unfortunately, there was no one out there protecting that religious unit. Meanwhile, Jukanu are managing to take out the majority of this backline, but I'm gonna be honest. I think that's probably a win to Louis. Number one, he didn't lose Joan. She's caught a lot of XP. She's already 40% up. Take a look at that. Have a look down there. She is 40% into that next level, and we got to keep up on the gold here, and that's going to also serve as a staging point for the large gold. So I think that at this stage, Louis' position is quite good. Now, in the event that we make it to the Imperial Age, I'll be honest, I don't actually know who wins this. The Chinese are really good, right, in the Imperial Age. My favorite thing with the Chinese is, so at this stage right now, this is what needs to be happening, so I'm really glad. I was just about to say, Magic needs to be converting all of his wood gatherers into farmers. So ideally, he wants to go up to 36 farms here, even a little bit higher than that. So 36 is 12 farms around each granary, and you can see he's got these ones connecting a little bit. So we'll have to give him Oh gosh, I don't like that. I mean, it depends how you like to do your granaries. I don't actually know what the most optimal one is, but it's really dependent. Like, how much space do you have? Can you get away with it? That sort of thing. I should probably look into that. I remember I was testing it quite a while ago, but have a look at this. We've got stone walls beginning to come up as well. This stone wall could actually be really good. And look at this. We've got stone walls coming up on both sides here. Could look for a potential Great Wall Gatehouse here as well. Magic could. I don't know if it's going to be the best though, but majority of the fight now going to be over on this west side of the map. The east side is quite empty. So another thing to note is I would love to see just a stone wall across here if possible, just to try and keep himself safe on that flank. But now villagers need to be careful as they will get picked off by the charging knights. Nesta B's on the backside. It is a clock tower one. It's going to take quite a few shots to actually eliminate. Mangonel also going to be coming out here. Nesta B's just... Are you attacking ground right there? Are you attacking ground, Mr. Nesta B's? Oh, okay. Nesta B's just going ham today. He's like, you know what? My previous friend, he unfortunately lost his life to a whole bunch of knights. But it's not going to be the same. Oh, my lord. Look at the damage. That was 100 damage on the dot, mate. Whoa, did you see that? Joan ain't messing around right now. That is 100 damage, no mitigation whatsoever. The Nesta Beast has got 30 range number, but Joan does not care. That's 100 true damage. I just realized that's 100 true damage, dude. Whew. Who needs sprinkles when you got Joan? I'm loving these stone walls over on the west side as well. I think what would be really nice here, see, the problem is, like, if you throw the Great Wall Gatehouse here, it doesn't have the range to hit the gold vein. And that's really what you want. You want to be able, at the very least, to deny the gold vein, but most importantly, to challenge the gold vein, I think is really important. Horsemen over on the east side. And this is back where I was talking about why we want to get that stone wall in. The stone wall is really important here because it's just going to guarantee that you're not going to have that pressure over on that east side. Your opponent's really not going to be able to do too much. The alternative is you can go for something a little bit bigger, but it's obviously going to cost you a hell lot more. The gold now becoming a little bit difficult to come by. 4k in the back of the base. He's obviously just going to leave it. 3 relics to 2 for magic, though. And sacred sites are now going to become a factor. He's looked to pick up the first one in the center. The second one over on this west side has already been captured. Now over on the third sacred site over on that east side, we've got more happening. And look at this. We've got ourselves a little bit of a trade-off. And it looks like the Mangonel will unfortunately go down. Villager count, as we mentioned about 10 minutes ago, it was Louis MT slightly ahead with Magic just coming in behind. But I think both players are going to be pretty happy with this. I think Magic especially. So now the question becomes Imperial Age. Ideally, in this situation, the Chinese should be hitting Imperial before Joan of Arc, and they should be looking for a power spike with a whole bunch of Palace Guards. And we want those Palace Guards to be triple upgraded, so that means that we want to pick up Battle Hardened, that means we want to pick up the Elite upgrade, and it also means we want to pick up the University upgrade. On top of that, you can also look to try and get Blacksmith upgrades, but it's not as important. The main ones are those 3. And that's going to give you true power, and then what you can then do is look to flood. So that means that you're sending Palace Guards in every direction you can possibly find. Now, it's a bit hard here because we've got stone walls that are beginning to come up, which means it's more difficult to find a way through. But it still serves as a reasonable approach. Nice little shot by the Mangonel there in the center. Meanwhile, on that east side, it looks like the sacred site will be neutralized. Springald emplacement is through, though, so it's going to be tough to take this. Meanwhile, more outposts. This one's going to be going down shortly. Treb working its magic. Keep in mind, the Trebuchet does miss 10% of the time against these smaller buildings, the 2x2s. And now, more walls coming up. They're walling, both players walling on either side. And there's the Red Palace going to be going down. So Louis, still about 17 population short of that Imperial Age. Or rather, 17 population short of that maximum. But will look to go Imperial here. Now, as long as he brings enough villagers, he'll be okay. Because Magic doesn't know about it yet. And if Magic does know about it, he'll be able to very quickly extinguish that threat. Now, with so many villagers here, it's going to be very hard for him to stop it. Let's see. Oh, they're getting into position. Magic should be able to realize the Treb is here. He needs to move forward with the Nesta Beast right now to try and deny this. You can see that on the side of Louis, he does have 2 Springalds out, but I think there's no way it's getting denied. And with this Red Palace coming up, not only do you secure the gold in the middle here, you deny it from your opponent. And this is where it starts to get very difficult for Magic, because now the only way he can deal with this Oh my god, they both hit Imperial at the same time? Wow, that was within a second of each other. They both hit Imperial. Have a look at that. How crazy is that? That is absolutely wild. A little bit of feedback that I got as well. I saw in the comments, there was actually a comment that was really highly liked. I think there was about 20 likes on the comment. It said, Drongo, can you please make sure that you get rid of the Conqueror symbol from their age up? Just because I'm watching on my phone and it's a little bit hard to see because my phone's quite small. I can't really tell what age they're in. And I was like, you know what, that's pretty good feedback. It's hard to see their rate or their ranking now, but you know what? I'll take that. I think that's good feedback. So I accept what you said, Mr. Friend. Let's see whether Magic's going to accept it though. So at this stage, unit composition should be looking to change from Magic into Palace Guards together with Hand Cannoneers. He's got really good Hand Cannoneers in the late game. The big thing is going to be this upgrade that isn't actually... Where is it? There it is, Pyrotechnics, which is going to give him that extra range. On top of that, he can look to combo that with the Great Wall Gatehouse, which is going to give even more attack. But then on top of that, just by standing on top of the stone walls, you're going to get that extra range. So you go up to a total of like 7.5 range, which is longer than a longbow. Oh, Mr. Clock Tower Springald. You were a bold individual today, but unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. Have a look at this. The villagers are actually chilling. They're fine. Well done. Well played. This pains me, seeing this, because it's like a single stone wall gate, outpost, 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 Springald emplacements, dead. So that's another thing to note. It's like, it can be really, really annoying. Nice little walls on the backside here. All right, well, geez, we've hit the late game. We've hit... This is where it all... Like, get your notebooks out, fellas. This is time to learn. If you're an aspiring Chinese main, if you enjoy playing Joan of Arc or the French even, then you know what? You should be taking notes right now, because we are about to learn from two of the best players in the world how to play the late game. Now, Sacred Site has been neutralized, really important. Have we got Tide Barns coming in for these players? Have a look here. We've actually got Ancient Techniques, then Elite Army Tactics coming in after. Where are our Tithe Barns? Let's see if we can find where are our... There we go. Tithe Barns are through. Okay, so we've got confirmation. Horsemen now going to be coming out. Veteran Horsemen. Looking for a little bit of a run by. We'll be able to find it. Have a look at just how much damage that keep is going to be doing as well. But even just 3 horsemen like this can be very, very annoying. But fortunately, Lance is going to catch it and the raid gets through. Unfortunately, not through far enough. And I think Magic's learnt from the mistake of leaving that gate open. And he says, you know what? That was 5 horsemen. Next time it could be 15. I'm not going to take risks, but... Oh, he's got to be careful. He's got to be so careful. Red Palace might be going down here. Triple Trebuchet going to be looking to try and take it out. Meanwhile, on that back line, Joan of Arc still moving towards that level 4. Have a look down here. Mango shots. Clean up everything and say, sit on down. And he's walled his nest of bees out. He walled his own nest of bees out, and they're going to get eaten alive. Meanwhile, have a look at that experience point. Joan of Arc, she's moving to level 4 very, very soon. But the Red Palace will go down. And unfortunately, though, Magic's got absolutely nothing on the battlefield to do anything else with. He's got a couple of crossbows. He's put them up to elite for some reason. I don't know why exactly, especially because of how good a hand cannon is. It just feels like such a waste of resources. It kind of, it's almost reminiscent of like how you throw Juku Nu away in mid Castle Age or even early Castle Age or even like late feudal. You can just kind of throw them away in anticipation of Castle Age. And it's the same thing here. Like, sure, the crossbows are good and having elite upgrades are nice, but bro, like, we got hand cannoneers with 7.5 range. Do we really need to go into elite crossbows? A little bit of a waste, in my opinion. But speaking of waste, have a look at this. 7,000. Oh, there you go. That was a little bit of market trading right there. Let's see if we can find exactly what that number's currently sitting. 20 gold. I'll sell you 100 food, but I'd like 20 gold for it. Jeez, that's a good trade deal. If you're the guy who's buying the food, that is cheap. All right, Red Palace is down. Slowly but steadily getting repaired. You can see the mangoes just firing off a little bit over the top. You can see villagers will go down with it. Only 12 villagers, the difference between them. And we do see markets now being set up. This is going to be big for Magic. He's got a perfectly positioned trade post. On the other side, we already have trade starting to come through. I didn't even realize Louis already begun moving into it. Double battering rams. Spears now going to be coming out here together with the hand cannoneers. So instead of going into the Palace Guards, we'll be looking to move into Spears instead, which is definitely a fine choice here up against Joan of Arc. The one issue that he's got to run into is that the Spears are very cheap, so he needs to bring those reinforcements up, or that production. So instead, you want to try and have your barracks as close to the front as possible, just because you're going to be going through so many units, because they're obviously very cheap. They're not as big on the they're not as big on the numbers as things like Royal Knights or Abbasid, so we want them as close to the front to reinforce. But now it looks like that clock tower counterweight trebuchet, it's a big name, does manage to survive. Abbasid on the back line, together with the Royal Knights, have got their elite upgrades together with their bloodlines. And now Joan of Arc, she's hit level 4. She's in the markswoman. Looking to try and take names. Fires off towards the Springle. Does a little bit of damage there with her Divine Blast. 150 of it, in fact. Could potentially one-shot these hand cannoneers. Hand cannoneers looking to try and focus it down. And you see that shot firing off. Able to take it out. Keep in mind, she's got insane range on her. 7 tiles. The only way you can possibly outrange her is getting on top of a stone wall. That's the only way you'll do it. But have a look at this. The Red Palace will come up behind it. And now with the Red Palace online, we've got to evacuate the dance floor. The trebuchets were pushed back too far, and unfortunately it means that that Red Palace has established itself as the dominant keep in the position. So let's talk about resources. We got gold down here. No Imperial official on the gold, which is a little bit of a mistake, I will say. One of the things... Oh, yeah, this is a big mistake as well. Ooh, actually, both players avoiding cupellation. So you got to remember with cupellation, okay, the way that it works, you drop off 15% more resources. So it costs 500. Okay, so we can do some very quick math here and go, okay, if it's 500 and 15%, how much gold do I need to gather before I get that 15% back? And the answer's a little bit over 3,000 gold, which means if you've got 4,000 gold to gather, in this case, you probably don't have it as Louis, but as Magic, you definitely do. You got 2.4 here, you got 2.1 here. Then going for those upgrades is really, really important because it guarantees you're going to have just a little bit of extra gold to help you out. The numbers are starting to look good for Magic. He just needs to be able to convert this into units. And a big part of that is going to be production. So for me, I would love to see like a whole bunch of... See, you could go into Palace Guards. The problem is if you go into Palace Guards, like your opponent's literally making double counter, right? Like they've got Abbasid, which counter Palace Guards, and then they've also got Elite Royal Knights, which also... Oh my god, what was that? That was disgusting. Was it quadruple mangonel on the back? Everything just died. Did you see that? The numbers, the experience just came up, an extra attack speed now coming through for Joan of Arc. Looking to try and push back these trebuchets. We'll be able to find it, and Louis MT busting through. Finally finds a little bit of space towards the front side. Elite Horsemen also going to be joining the fray, and you can see that the Mangos are just looking for shots on this backline. Hand Cannoneers trying their best. Beautiful dodges coming in. It feels like we're watching dodgeball right now. Looking to try and hit Joan of Arc. Not going to happen. Siege Works rather is through, so it means he's got that extra little bit of armor to protect himself against these elite Hand Cannoneers. Hand Cannoneers do 42 damage. And the Mangonels have got 40 armor, so they're only doing 2 damage every single shot. No longer are the days of Hand Cannoneers one-shotting these Mangonels. I tell you what, that was an absolutely terrifying time to be Mangonel enjoyer. But where do you even go from here as the Chinese? Your main combo is Spearmen together with the Hand Cannoneer, but the Spearmen get completely destroyed by the Abbasid. They've got 10 armor. Villagers coming forward, looking to try and exhaust a little bit of that economy over towards those Mangonels. They're going to continue moving forward, looking for the next one, and more Rams now starting to come out. Louis is breaking through. Plenty of Rams on this backside. Now going to start sieging towards Joan. Manages to make her way to the backside. She's also got Divine Restoration in the back pocket. It's going to take another minute for her to pick it up, though. So much experience coming in here for her, but it doesn't even matter. She's already level 4 Drongo. It does not matter at all. She's completely maxed out. And now those battering Rams are going to start eating up this population on the back because they're going to have to be a little bit distracted. You can see them working through it. And now the Horsemen finally looking to find a way to charge through. Everything is going well for Louis. How does Magic possibly come back into this? He needs to find another avenue to attack. He needs to be throwing down siege workshops, looking to try and get a little bit of a push going, maybe throw a Rax or 2 out over here and look to start making some Mogul moves over here. Checking in on the trade, we can see that now these Horsemen are going to come through on the back. How many traders have we actually got here? We've only got 11 traders out. Oh my lord, compared to Louis, he's got 33 at the moment in the middle of the map. It sounds like Joan did get sapped there, but we'll check back in, see how the raids are going. 900 gold left on that. Magic, he's got plenty of resources in the bank. The question is going to be about how much he's got left in the tank, though, because it is starting to feel a little bit sour for him as he's losing out position on the front. The gold has now been recovered. Louis is going to be able to take this gold, and he's going to be feeling very good about himself. Securing that one up is going to guarantee that he's going to be able to finish off any upgrades that he needs to. And finally, Imperial Palace getting thrown down here. This is a really late Imperial Palace for Magic. This would have guaranteed a lot more movement speed in those fights. And Now you can see one of the most annoying parts of the game when you're getting raided like this. There's nothing worse than when your front gets broken and a couple of horsemen make their way through, because now I've got to send, you know, it's 2 spears down here, 3 spears over there. It's so much more advantageous to be the raider in this situation. You can see now, you know, way too many spears being brought down to this just one position here, and he's trying to make it work. Yuan Dynasty's online. Okay, Magic. Can he get back into it? He's got plenty of resources in the bank. It's about making the right units here, though, because the reality is he doesn't have a lot of population to play with. He's got 40 hand cannoneers, which is wonderful, but how does he deal with the mangonels? The answer is the springled. The problem that he's going to have is that his opponent has got a huge amount of royal knights, and if those royal knights get on top of the hand cannoneers, then all of a sudden they're just going to get eaten alive, because there's also those pesky horsemen that are also about. So ideally what we want to be doing is kiting them, and then the problem becomes, well, I've got my clock tower springalds, and then they're going to die. So now I'm just left with mangonels on the field from my opponent. So it's going to be very tough for Magic to solve this issue. Where's that Great Wall Gatehouse, by the way? It's chilling over here towards this east side. It really hasn't been able to achieve much. And I think this is part of where I'm a big fan. You know, I was talking about this earlier, but getting that Great Wall Gatehouse on the big gold is just so important for me. I think that the sacred sites are obviously very relevant, but you can see how little we fought over this sacred site. We don't care about this sacred site. What do we care about? We care about the gold. We care about the resources. That is the most important thing to us here, because he who controls the gold controls the world. Is it gold or is it spice? I feel like it's probably spice. Well, in this universe, we'll make it gold. He who controls the gold. I guess stone's kind of important as well. Nah, well, it's gold. It's gold. It's got to be gold. Mansa Musa, all that good stuff. Anyway, numbers are looking really good here for Louis. At this point, I feel like players could probably start deleting villages. Maybe not deleting villages. Yeah, you got to... Oh. Did you guys see that? I don't know if you see that, really, but it said Elite Fire Lancers is now complete. Are there stables somewhere? Are there stables Is he sneaking stables somewhere? Look for the sneaky stables. I don't see him. I should be looking at the front. I'm sorry. I take it all back. Anyway, we got ourselves a bit of a battle beginning to unfold here. Numbers looking pretty decent, though, on this backside. I think Magic should be able to hold this fight without too much of a hassle. The keep is starting to come up, and you can see the battering rams just getting in here. Look at see this? This is what's so annoying. The ranged units are all attacking the battering rams instead of making their way to the front. This is so damn annoying, and I really dislike this quite a bit. The fact that they get caught up on this, I mean, but I don't think there's any real way that you could change this other than making it so units never target battering rams unless they're specifically told. And to be honest, I feel like that might actually be a good change, just simply because of how annoying this is. But beautiful little position that he's got here now, Louis, as he begins to push through. The mangonels are going to be safe underneath the keep. Trebuchet firing off. Also got Randy on the backside. Hello, Randy. How you doing? Spearman coming out to say good day to you. Get him, Randy. Get him, Randy. Hit him, Randy. There he comes, walking down the middle. Randy Orton looking very strong, ready to RKO off the top rope. There he goes. Get him, boy. Get him, boy. Here he comes. I can't take my eyes off him. He's so beautiful. He's so handsome. Look at him go. Just huge barrels. Massive barrels. You got a license for those weapons, mate? Anybody want some tickets to the gun show? Look at him go. Oh, baby. Just continuing to push in. I think this might be game. Losing the relics out here, there's a potential for a snipe on these relics. You've lost that gold income. Not to mention the fact that behind this, I feel like there's just naturally raids going on somewhere. There they are, the horsemen making their way through. It's not even horsemen, it's elite riders that are starting to come down here. She's in a great spot, Joan of Arc, that is for sure. Louis MT demonstrating how to do it in the late game. Louis, I'm impressed, man. I am impressed. Magic has really tried his best to hold on here, but it's just a case of, I feel like there's just not enough oomph in his army. He hasn't really got a way to deal with these battering rams either. Now the spear's going to be coming forward, looking to try and target out all this siege on the backline. Siege going to be focusing down all the hand cannoneers. We'll keep an eye out on that experience as Joan of Arc still standing by strong. But look at all the hand cannoneers. They've gone down to 12 hand cannoneers here. And now the siege continues to rally in more and more units. Louis just coming straight to the front. I think that's it. I don't think there's any way he holds this. He's going to have to fall back. The relics are on the ground. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. The game is absolutely over. Louis MT coming out victorious today up against Magic. Incredible performance there in the late game from Joan of Arc. You love to see it. Fellas, go check out EGC TV. 15 GMT this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Be there or be square.